I'm Dean. I'm the dad.
I'm Laura. I'm the mom.
And I'm Krysta, and I'm the daughter.
And together we are Family Pie. Very nice. Well, how is everybody this fine Wednesday?
Hanging in there.
I'm okay.
That's all we can do some days. Well, welcome to the show. If you're a new listener, thanks for coming. If you've been here before, we're always glad to have you back. Remember to share the show with your friends on social media if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, just keep that to yourself. That's the contract we like to have. Also, remember, if you want to support us, you can do that a couple of ways. You can do that through Patreon. You can just support us through there. They have monthly options. We have different options, Team Bunny, Team Spa Day, Team Podcast. It's all pretty self-explanatory. And if you just want to do like a one-time thing, Buy Me a Coffee works. And that's the basics. So let's get into the story of tonight. Tonight, we return, spiritually anyway, to Massachusetts, a place we frequented in our discussions about the Pukwudgie and the Salem witch trials. And now we are back to discuss a paranormal phenomenon called the Bridgewater Triangle, a 200-square-mile triangle known for an unusual animals, mysterious deaths, and so much more. Tonight, join us as we discuss the Bridgewater Triangle. But first,
it is that time again.
It is time for Krista's Weird Facts.
Well, hello everybody. It's great to be back.
I have to say, it was kind of fun being an honorary Krista last week and getting to do your segment for you. But I'm glad that you're back and doing it this week, Krista.
I'll be honest, it was a nice break and I almost forgot to do it. Oh, I shouldn't forget to do this.
Well, as I recall, you've made a kind of an unusual choice of facts for this week.
So, since today is, the
Bridgewater.
This is the Bridgewater. When I was searching up Bridgewater, it literally came up with Bermuda first. So I was like,
Well, because there's several different triangles of weirdness that happen, and Bridgewater is just one of them.
Yep. Okay, so today's facts are from, drumroll please.
Oh.
Okay. Mental Floss. This is one of the reoccurring websites, so if you have not, go ahead and go look at their website.
Go check out Mental Floss.
No, we are
Krista's
not.
a fan.
We are not sponsored.
We're not sponsored by them yet, but we're willing to talk Mental Floss if you're interested. Give us a holler.
Mental Floss? Yep. You heard, Mom. So today's facts are from Mental Floss and by Ellen
Spell it. I'll do my best. Gutowski.
Kachowski.
Yep.
She lost it.
Okay, no, I did not.
You just don't have enough Polish friends. I have a friend that his family came from Czechoslovakia, and his last name was Jakubowski. So I've got some history with pronouncing names like that, just not a lot.
Oh, it's a video.
What's a video?
Facts.
Oh, no. It's a video?
It's a video.
Well, that didn't work.
That didn't work out.
I thought these were actual facts. Normally I look these over, but like...
She was piddling around today.
Apparently.
You know what? Can't all be perfect. Can't be perfect every time. Besides, what facts do we have about UFOs anyway? We don't know a lot. I mean,
Apparently there was 23 on mental floss.
really?
23.
Well, I know that if you watch the show Skinwalker Ranch, which I do, because that show...
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you found some facts?
From mental floss again. But by a different person. Aaron McCarthy.
Okay, Aaron, what you got for us?
Shoot, Aaron, you're fading.
Anywho, unidentified flying objects or UFOs have been fascinating humanity since ancient times. Though strange things in the sky weren't always referred to as UFOs, of course. From bizarre early sightings and the time of the White House had a run-in with UFOs, to the origin of the phrase flying saucer and the truth behind what happened at Roswell, New Mexico. Here are UFO facts you need to know.
Cool. Lay 'em on me, crystallins.
Yes, we're listening, baby girl.
Oh, stretch. Number one, the term UFO was first used in the 1950s in reference to reports from the U.S. Air Force. Look, that rhymes.
Yes, it does rhyme. UFOs are now more commonly referred to as UAPs.
Why?
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Stop making it harder for everyone to remember!
I don't know why they changed it.
It was fun before. UFO stands for unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
That's easy to remember. The other one is not. Sorry guys, I think I'll just stick with UFO. A term that the Oxford English Dictionary says was coined in 1953 by writer Donald Kehoe.
She doesn't like his name, apparently.
Apparently, it didn't sound like she did.
In an issue of Airline Pilot, in the article, Kehoe mostly uses the term in air quotes from Air Technical Intelligence Center reports. Which is part of the U.S. Air Force. In a document from the 50s, they defined a UFO by performance is aerodynamic characteristics or unusual features. Does not conform to any presently known aircraft or missile type, or which cannot be positively identified as a familiar object. Things that fall into the category of familiar objects include balloons, birds, and planets. Well, I don't know how you see that though, unless there's one that's gonna fall on you.
It's a balloon bird planet.
Look, Dad, the cat and Mom, they look the same.
Yes, they're both
I don't
asleep.
see the difference.
I am not asleep. I am resting my eyes because they are in pain because my allergies hate me.
Are you getting bitten by something, Krista? What's the matter with you?
Sounds like a tickle noise to me.
Nobody would tickle my Krista.
Except my dad. Don't tell him I said that.
Your dad is innocent.
That's... I'm not
I'll say it for you, Crystal.
Thank you. More recent government reports use the term UAP, among other abbreviations. UFO isn't the only acronym used to refer these crafts. A recently released government report uses
Damn you!
UAP, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, amongst other creative abbreviations.
Okay.
So, we don't know much about actual UFOs, but these are facts about what.
Suspected.
These are facts basically about,
Our study of them.
no. Because there's stuff like, hold on, let me read this one. There's one about the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, which is the Foo Fighters got their name from. Okay.
It's a fact.
Okay.
Nice Avenger.
Oh, no, we are not Lion King the dog. Go on.
And then, like a pilot or something. So, yeah, I guess maybe you were right.
Oh, leave that out. I dropped enough.
It's okay. Okay, let's get on to the next one before I annoy people with it. 3. The term UFO doesn't refer to aliens, just the flying objects. Just because we all call something a UFO doesn't necessarily mean there are aliens involved. Although, of course, the two terms are associated in the public consciousness. But if you wanted to talk about little green men and sound super official about it, you can call them ETBs, or your extraterrestrial beings.
Extraterrestrial beings, huh?
Yeah.
Extraterrestrial beings.
I said beings!
I said beings because I thought it was funnier.
You know what else is funny? The dog's butt in your face, apparently.
No, I don't think that's funny.
I don't either, but he does. Look at his face. He's so happy. Franny. You
He's sitting up here with me and is very proud about it. He's like, everybody, Dad loves me. He's letting me sit next to him. See how lucky I am?
I'm more lucky.
Yeah, you are. Use my Krista.
There are also ETCs, or extraterrestrial crafts. So I'm pretty sure.
Wouldn't ETCs also be just another name for UFOs? Or is
I'm pretty sure that is.
Well, or
Extraterrestrial.
maybe not ETC. Maybe ETCs would be if someone found like something that they thought was a spaceship, but they found it like crash landed somewhere, right? Because it wouldn't be a UFO because it wouldn't be in the line.
Right. That ETC is more used when there is, at the very least, strong suspicion that that it is an alien-controlled craft, as opposed to some sort of aerial light phenomenon.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this one is Foo Fighters took their name from an old term referring to UFO-like objects.
Yes, during World War II.
You know Foo Fighters have a totally bad... I'm not saying that word.
Badass.
Yes.
She's just being all sorts of improper this episode. I swear.
Me or Crystal?
You.
Well, okay. So,
Don't you have a bleep?
do you need to send me to bed?
Let me think about that.
No, both of you are
Now it's
improper. Improper. 4. No,
Yeah.
including 6. 4 eyes. Bleh. Don't worry, I
Okay,
you have 4
so-
eyes. 2 eyes
so-
left. Smokey the Bear? What?
This is getting out of hand. How many facts was that? 3?
4.
Okay, let's get through number 5 so we can do this show.
This is actually number 4.
Talk.
Okay. Rock band headed up by Dave Grohl. But the term dates back to World War II, as Ed said. The word "foo" seemingly originated from Smokey Stover, a popular comic at the time. Members of the 415th Night Fighter Squadron painted it with the word "fighters" to describe the weird, annoying balls of light that they spotted in the air over Germany. Carl was apparently reading a lot of books about UFOs at the time. And take note, one of the rock stars, he has said that there's a treasure trove of band names in those UFO books. I'm pretty sure they're talking about Foo Fighters.
Yep. Foo Fighters is one of them.
Watch there be like a rapper or something named UFO.
Surprise me.
Number 5.
Number 5, here it comes, number 5.
A flying saucer into public consciousness. Okay. I don't know why anybody else didn't think of that before a freaking pilot, but okay.
It's actually Astonishing Legends just covered this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it was, a pilot had encountered these craft. And I want to say they were like crescent shaped, maybe. And he said they were flying like a thrown saucer. He was describing the way they were traveling, not their shape.
That's pretty much what this said, so.
Yeah, like I said, I only know it because I listen to Astonishing Legends regularly, and they just covered it like 3 weeks ago. And he was the guy that basically gave us the term flying saucers, but it was a misquote because the craft he was looking at wasn't even round.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it for today's fact cheese.
Yay! Oh, wait, let me put in some claps for my Krista.
Hooray!
Woo! Yay, Krista!
Oh, all of us are tired, I can tell.
Oh, my Krista's okay. We'll get through this, I promise.
Oh, no, we won't.
So, let's begin with the center of the Bridgewater Triangle. This is the Hockomock Swamp.
Look.
Now, Hockomock is what the local Native Americans, the Wampanoag, called this swamp, the Hockomock. And it's named after the natural force of disintegration, but it may also be the name of a not nice Native American deity. I've seen references to both. But the Wampanoag used to hunt plentiful game out of that swamp. That swamp was full of game animals, and they hunted them on the regular. It was also a place where they would ambush enemies. And in fact, at one point when the Wampanoag were at war with the settlers, it was from the Hockomock that was their central territory from which they would go and attack the settlers. Because they knew the swamp and the settlers didn't.
Right.
But that being said, the swamp being central to their way of life, they did not go there alone. They say it was an untrustworthy place, which swamps are in general. You know, they can be very dangerous with leeches and quicksand and things like that. But the other thing is they said that it was full of otherworldly creatures. And the most common that they talked about was the Pukwudgie, and we'll get into him later, and we've kind of done a thing about him. But yeah, and to this day, people go missing in the Hockomock all the time. All the time. And the Bridgewater Triangle is another one of those places where people just go missing. And it's full of, like Missing 411. It's a place that's full of high strangeness. Like Skinwalker Ranch, or really just about any of these places that we've covered.
Right.
Let's take a moment for a word from our sponsors, and then we will jump back into this. How do you feel, hon?
I feel sponsored.
Well, there we go. So, the first UFO was spotted in the area known as the Bridgewater Triangle in the 1760s.
Well, it probably wasn't known as the Bridgewater Triangle back then.
No,
Right?
it was not.
Okay, just check. Because it was like, did they even know what bridges were in the 1760s?
Something else that they see a lot of there are black helicopters. Now, when I say black helicopters, I'm not talking about like a private helicopter that's painted black and pilot waves at you as he goes overhead. No. The black helicopters are reported a lot during UAP sightings. Some people think they're government helicopters. Some people think they're the men in black. Some people think they're an agency all their own. But these black helicopters tend to show up chasing UFOs, or sometimes they show up on their own. They've been known to swoop in front of people chasing helicopters to like try to break up that line of sight. In fact, there's a famous case, although I don't think it happened in the Hockomox, but there's a famous case where these ladies were following a pair of black helicopters, and eventually they got to this what looked like a massive ship, and they stared at it for a while, and then finally it moved away. The helicopters moved away, and the ladies began to get these strange rashes. They had hair falling out. They went to their doctor. They had radiation poisoning. So, but it's a place where UAPs are seen, black helicopters are seen, and there are a lot of cattle mutilations. And from what we know, they happen just as quickly as they happen on the Skinwalker Ranch. One farmer, again, this one about 2016, talked about how he literally had been out in the field with one of his cows. And at one point, the cow goes down on its knees like it's tired, it's going to rest. Which is weird because cows don't do that. And he went over, he looked at it, cow seemed fine. He was going to come back out later. When he came back out later, the cow was like in the same area, but it had been mutilated. Like the eyes had been taken and some other body bits, and obviously it was dead. So, I mean, so this is another area, and I kind of wish I knew more about the scientific research that's gone on here, because just what little I read about it reminded me a lot of the stuff they do at Skinwalker Ranch. And it makes me wonder, like if you watch the show, there is an area over the ranch, a triangle that they literally cannot get any sort of measuring instrument into. And even when they do, things go bad. Like they had guys that all they do is chase UFOs. All these guys do is chase UFOs. They came on the property with all this high-tech equipment, and literally, as they would fire rockets into this area, and these guys were supposed to pick up telemetry data, just their systems would shut down. Just like boom, boom, boom. They didn't have any clue why. Just all of a sudden. And then they'd get them back up, and they'd be running fine, and then they'd go to run the experiment again, and boom, their equipment would shut down again. And so from what I little reading I could find on the subject, UFO investigation efforts in the area are hampered by the same kinds of things. Furthermore, the place is home to strange animals. And let me tell you about strange animals. One of the things that people talk about are giant snakes that live there.
Oh, fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, 2016, got a report. Gentleman walking through hiking through an area of the Bridgewater Triangle. And at first he thinks he's looking at a log, right? But then he realizes the log is moving. Like,
of course it is.
And he's like, something must be dragging the log. And so he gets a little closer, and that's when he realizes it's not a log, it's the back end of a very large snake.
Like, oh,
And large snakes have been seen there for easily 100+ years. Something else people talk about are red-eyed vicious dogs. Like, not werewolves, like feral dogs, but with red eyes, which is weird because nature doesn't have that. And so that to me sounds like what black dogs, which we talked about very early in the program, maybe in our episode 20, somewhere in there. But we've talked about black dogs. And it sounds like that. The hellhounds I used to see in England and things like that. And they're still seen in the area to this day. Gotcha. And then something else. Now, this one goes back to the Wampanoag, but they're still occasionally seen, are these creatures that they describe as basically being giant eagles. These are Thunderbirds, classic Native American Thunderbirds.
Right.
And this is a place that they are seen on the regular.
So why?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. It's...
I mean, obviously, you found a lot of information on this, but do we have any kind of history as to why this area, why these things?
And that's just it. We don't. We just know in this 200-mile triangular area, a lot of hinky things go on. Now,
there aren't any theories or anything as to why this particular area. It's just that almost seems strangers in the occurrence of having the strange items appearing in this area.
well, early English colonists called the Hockomock the Devil's Swamp. So, and now also in the triangle is the Freetown Fall River Strait Forest, a large swath of forested land located at Freetown and Fall River, Massachusetts, covering around a little over 5,000 acres. And this was another area that was the site of conflict between colonial settlers and area Indians. Yeah, it's and like people go missing here on the regular. So it's but we don't know why. We don't know why any more than we know people go missing in the missing 411 areas. We don't know why Bermuda Triangle is so odd. Right. Now there are those that will tell you that the Bermuda Triangle is fabricated. That nothing worse happens there than happens in any other part of the ocean. That if you compare, but then again, you've got people that talk about tunnels that they've been through that like took them from the Bermuda Triangle to Miami in an hour less time than it should have. Yeah. And I mean, just so what's causing? I don't know. What causes the weirdness at Skinwalker Ranch? Probably something to do with that triangle, but whatever established it isn't letting anything in to figure anything out about it.
Wild.
And so, and like I said, maybe it's because it's a big forest and a big swamp. And those are not places where people think well. But I think maybe we have to examine the idea that it's possible that something makes a home there or has made a home there, and that something can be bothered. Yeah. Also, in addition to the Thunderbirds, we get other cryptids. People see Bigfoot there all the time, which does not surprise me that there would be a few of those hairy hominids living in a big forest like that doesn't get visited very often. It is also a place where the Pukwudgie, which we did a whole episode on, is sighted on the regular. And in fact, people have reported them being rather mean there.
No good.
Yeah, no bueno. Dozens of people have gone missing in the Bridgewater Triangle, and I mean crazy missing. Like one guy literally was like sitting on a log. You're just sitting on a log waiting for his hunting buddies. He wasn't going anywhere, right? That was his job, to sit there because they were going to try to push things towards him for him to tag and bag, right? He was going to shoot him and bag him up, get him ready. So they're chasing all these animals, and they don't hear any gunshots, and they know they got to be going to where he is. So they go and and it's just gone. His gun was on the ground, and that was it. He's just gone. And they've never found any hide nor hair of him. And like this guy used to go and hunt in this place all the time. So it's not like he's going to get lost. And they weren't hunting in an area they hadn't before. And our friend Kate from Ignorance is Bliss lives not too far away from this insanity. And she knows people who live in the area who see strange things all the time. All the time. Also, a lot of people go into the Bridgewater Triangle to commit suicide. Like the Agihagao Forest in Japan. And they know of at least 2 serial killers that have dropped victims in the area. Plus, they think there is at least one satanic cult that practices ritual murder.
Wow. That's a lot going on for a little swampy area.
For 200 square miles of triangle? Yeah. Well, I mean, remember, the swamp's at the center, but we got the forest. And then we got a bunch of little sleepy towns for the most part. Right. Places like Rehoboth. And I don't know who lives in Rehoboth, but that's not a great name for a place to live. So, all in all,
it's a weird place.
Yeah, it's a very weird place. And we have dozens of reports of disappearances in there. We have dozens of reports of black helicopters, UFOs, strange lights. People see ghosts all the time. The most common apparitions are Native Americans. Yeah. Which makes sense, again, but people see ghosts in the area all the time. And it just makes me wonder if there's not one of these energy sources that they have discovered on Skinwalker Ranch that they can find out nothing about.
Gotcha.
And it makes me wonder if there's one above this, the Bridgewater Triangle, which would explain a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Because even the Wampanoag, who turned it into a fortress, did not trust it.
Right.
Entirely. So in the 70s, there was this kid named Alden that just decided to pick some flowers. He was playing with his sister, decided he was going to go pick some flowers, and then just vanished. Like nobody could find him. They looked for him for 24 hours. People heard screams in the woods, and still nobody found this kid. And then, like, all of a sudden, he turns up trying to sell these flowers to investigators. And they asked him why he's screaming, and he had no memory of it. And they had no idea how this kid managed to vanish so completely after 24 hours, or why he was trying to sell them flowers when they showed back up. And that's not even counting the ghost. There's this red-headed phantom that walks along the highways there in the Bridgewater Triangle. When people pick him up, he just sort of vanishes. And, like, he always seems to know things about people. It's really weird. Krista, you got any thoughts here? You can speak. You can speak, my child. People can't hear you shake your head.
I don't have anything to say.
What about you, my love?
Well, I
thought
thought I was talking, but it just falls under the quotient of being another one of these strange places that you just can't explain. That's the kind of thing that keeps life interesting, I guess.
It does keep it interesting, and it implies that someone somewhere has the technology to do this and to keep us blind to it.
Yeah.
And that makes me wonder.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder quite a bit. Krista, you were going to say something?
No. I can't. I don't. I mean, okay. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory with its, all of its. I don't understand. The only thing I don't really understand is how that cow died. I mean, it could be, like you said, the whole skin ranch walker type thing. And that could be just another one of those skin walker sightings. Or not sightings, but something that happens after a skin, like a skinwalker.
I get what you're saying.
If it stole the cow's eyes and other stuff, it might just be trying to disguise itself. Or eat.
Well, now, the boys at Graveyard Tales, whom I love, Adam and Matt are awesome dudes, but they were talking about like a sky-dwelling phenomena, like these weird creatures that live in high altitudes, and that they shouldn't be able to live in, like 20% of the oxygen sample was these creatures or something. And they posited at one point that something like that could be what does the cattle mutilations, because it just sort of like sneaks down and like takes the bits it needs and sneaks back up. That they used it to argue to, if this can exist, what else can exist at these altitudes?
Well, and that's a good question.
So for me, it's high strangeness. And once you reach the point of, yep, that's highly strange, then I tap out, because
you don't have anywhere else to go.
I don't have I am overwhelmed with information. I have too much going on.
Right.
And that it has to be connected, otherwise it's too coincidental. But if it's connected, I sure as heck can't see how. So I guess for me, the final thought is that if you live in Massachusetts, one, make time to say hi to Kate. She's pretty cool. Two,
avoid Bridgewater triangles.
Yeah.
Yeah, avoid the Bridgewater Triangle, or go in with a plan and lots of people, and don't let anyone out of your sight, because it's the people who get out of your sight that tend to disappear and are never seen again. So that's my thoughts. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this show.
Yeah.
If you have questions, if you want to know any more, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks as always to Bill Barrett, the guy that did our theme music. Bill, if you need theme music for a project, Bill's your guy. Just drop him a line at Bill Barrett, and that last name is spelled BEHRENDT at sbcglobal.net. You can also would definitely want to say thank you to Paige Elmore, who does our logo art. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Paige.
There you go, Krista. Thanks also to Aaron Gnurk of the Big Dumb Fun Show, who continues to promote us locally.
Thank you, Aaron.
Also, want to remind you to follow us on Twitter, where you can follow Laura at FamPlotMomLaura. You can follow Krista at FCrystalline, or you can follow the show at Plot_family. You can join our Facebook group. You can also follow me and Krista on Instagram. You can follow me on Pinterest. You can follow Krista on TikTok. And Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, we will all have some show-themed content. Also, join us next week as we discuss strange encounters. What are those? I guess you'll find out next week.
Oh, they're strange. I know that much.
Bye.
Bye.